Just waiting for some people to come in. I can see we've got some arriving in now.
Yep.
So yeah, welcome everybody, and pleased to have our Wednesday webinar session today, where we're going to be focusing on the Oberoi Resort in Mauritius, a beautiful property, actually one of my favorites in the country. I was lucky enough to visit a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. Loved the style, such a beautiful property, and it feels like a very sort of boutique-y style, which I really loved and kind of stood out from a lot of the other properties in Mauritius. So it'd be wonderful to hear more about that today. And we've got Lucy joining us, who is the UK Leisure Sales Manager. She'll be taking us through the presentation today. If anyone has any questions throughout, please feel free to ask in the question box, and we'll address those at the end. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Lucy now to take us through the beautiful Oberoi in Mauritius.
Brilliant. Thank you, Olivia. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lucy from the Oberoi. So today I'll just talk to you about the Oberoi Mauritius, but I'm sure those of you know about the Oberoi hotels and resorts as a brand. But today's just all about Mauritius. So yes, so the Oberoi as a brand, the three kind of core pillars that they focus on and are very well known for are their attention to detail, their very high levels of service, and their personalized guest experiences. And those three aspects kind of do filter across from obviously the core hotels in India, but throughout all of their international hotels, and then specifically for Mauritius. So first on Oberoi Beach Resort Mauritius. So we are actually located up in the northwest of the island, so an hour from the airport, and we're about 15 minutes from Grand Bay, 15 minutes from Port Louis. So for guests, it's really well located for them to kind of get out and about, whether it's a short taxi ride, go and explore kind of restaurants, shops, bars, but then come back to the resort and really get that kind of peaceful kind of relaxation resort feel that they can have. We are very much kind of typical kind of Mauritian kind of feel. Where we are based as well, up in the north, it's perfect for getting out and about and going really kind of enjoying Mauritius and what it has to offer. So when I was there back in January, one of the things that I did, the Red Roof Church. So this is where all the locals go. So it's really something that you wouldn't necessarily know about. But being up in the north, you do kind of have access to that. And the locals go here and they go fishing, and then they'll kind of eat the catch of the day. We've also got the Pamplemousse Gardens within about 15 minutes as well, and some of the best beaches up on the Northwest Island as well. So it definitely is somewhere that guests can explore, and then they could also do a twin centre if they wish with somewhere in the south. But Mauritius is it's never far to get around, so there's plenty to offer guests. So the resort itself, so we actually have 71 rooms in total. So we're only on about 20 acres. So as Olivia said, it does feel very boutique-y. It feels very typically Mauritian. We've got the thatched roofs, kind of open air buildings, and it really the style is very kind of in keeping with the island. Very lush and green. The gardens are very well manicured, and it's a lovely resort that it's not too large that you need a golf buggy. It's very accessible. So if you've got clients that have trouble walking, we're perfect for them because it's all kind of ramps. There's no large steps or anything to get around. This is kind of the main focal point of the hotel with the reception just here, but there's lots of fab Instagrammable kind of pictures to take. So the 71 rooms in total. So these are across 8 different room categories. The first kind of leading category are the pavilion rooms. So the luxury pavilion garden view or luxury pavilion ocean view. These tend to be in kind of clusters more towards the kind of left of the resort, so looking out to the sea. Great for couples and families, and if you've got groups of couples, this is a great option for them. Then we have the luxury villas. So just an example of the luxury pavilion. So the style itself, very light and airy, very kind of classic in its style as well. So if you've got guests that want kind of lots of white minimalist decor, that's not for them. But it's very much classic, traditional, light wood, very kind of airy, and because you've got the high pitched ceilings as well, it really does feel very spacious. So again, you can accommodate two adults and two children here very comfortably. I mentioned the pavilions are great for groups of couples. So these are actually interleading. So we can have 8 of these. So if you've got multi-generational families or groups of friends or groups of couples, we can put all of those people together. So they're all in one area. So not interconnecting, but interleading. So keep that in mind for groups. And then we've got our luxury villas. So these have either a garden or a garden and a pool. Again, very spacious, great for couples, honeymooners, and great for families as well. I think a lot of people always assumed that the Oberoi Mauritius was fundamentally for honeymooners, but that's not the case anymore. So we get lots of families coming, especially families with smaller children, probably less with sort of older kids and teenagers, but definitely families with small children. We have got a kids club as well. But with regards to the luxury villas, you can see the space here. So we actually have a lot of guests who stay for kind of long periods of time, and they can have in-villa dining as well. So up here you can have breakfast, lunches, and dinners, otherwise choosing the main restaurants. They offer the privacy as well, you can see, and all of the pools that they have. They're not just a small plunge pool. They are actually a decent sized pool. It's about 10 meters long, so you can actually do some decent swimming and proper lengths. We also have the presidential and the royal villa. So each of these properties are on either ends of the beach. So again, offer that privacy and kind of seclusion if your guests want to be kind of away from it all as well. The style, again, is very much classic in its style, with a hint of kind of the Indian sort of twist. Very spacious and light and airy. And obviously the spectacular views that we have. Food and beverage. So we are on bed and breakfast and half board. Guests can actually mix and match. So they can have some of their stay on bed and breakfast, some of it on half board. Because we've got Grand Bay so close, quite often guests choose to go out in the evening and go to the local restaurants. So they can always have breakfast and then their half board meal they can have for lunch. So then it obviously frees up their evening. But we have 4 restaurants to choose from, 3 of which are included in the meal plan. And they're all a la carte. So the main restaurant is called The Restaurant. So this is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it has an international menu and an Indian menu. Absolutely delicious food at the Oberoi. I really, really rate the food, and yeah, it's absolutely stunning. We also have On the Rocks, which is more of a kind of right near the beach, open for lunch and dinner. And in the evening, they'll offer a barbecue, so lobster, wagyu beef, and everything's included in the half board plan. There's no kind of additional extras or anything. In the evening, there'll be a guy playing guitar or someone singing, and it offers a really cool vibe. They really are, they've worked on a lot more of their kind of evening entertainment since the last sort of few years. So it does have a really kind of cool atmosphere. And lunchtime, great, again, great choice for food. The gunpowder room. This is in an old 18th century building that was there way before, obviously, the hotel was built. This offers typical kind of Creole food. It only has 12 covers, so I definitely would encourage guests to pre-book this meal. But it's really definitely something they should experience. It's all kind of family style, sharing plates, but it definitely is all about the Mauritian cuisine here. And then we also have the chef's herb garden. So this is the Herb Trail where they actually do cooking classes. It's only open on Saturdays and Sunday nights, and it's really an experience. So this only has 8 covers. So again, much smaller and intimate. So definitely worth booking. But this is where they'll do the cooking of the meat kind of under the ground, and that's actually what they do in a lot of the properties in India that we have. So they'll kind of slow roast lamb or beef under the ground all day, and that's what the guests will eat that evening. All of the produce, all of the herbs and spices are fresh from the garden, and the chef will come out and kind of tell the guests exactly what they're eating. So that's definitely an experience in itself. But this is the one that's not included in the half board plan, so that would just be an additional cost. Then we also have our spa. So Oberoi Signature Spa is very well known across all of the Oberoi hotels. So we've got three double treatment rooms and three singles across inside and outdoor spa as well. So very much a place to relax and completely switch off. All of our international properties have something called the Touching Senses program. So these are activities that these ones are all free of charge for the hotel. So guests every day there'll be something different for guests to do, and they'll be told about it the day before. They'll just have a little card in their room. So whether it's stargazing, they've had a guy come and do stargazing with guests every week since the hotel opened, so over 20 years. So he really knows his stuff, and it's very interesting about learning about what's going on in the sky. I did that back in January, and it's definitely worth doing. Rum tasting, obviously, the rum in Mauritius is very well known and delicious. So again, rum tasting happens every day, once a week, sort of daily. And then whether it's jewelry making, wine tasting, everything will be kind of different for that day. So definitely worth guests looking to get involved with that. Obviously, I mentioned the evening entertainment. So every day they'll have something different, whether it's someone playing the piano, guitar, singing. They are working on getting a DJ in the main bar as well. So they really are kind of getting a more of an atmosphere in the evening. So guests can kind of go to the bar before dinner, after dinner, and it's yeah, much more of an ambience now. I mentioned obviously it's great for kids, so we do have the kids club from age 4 till 12, so plenty of activities for kids to get involved in. Obviously, we've got all the water sports that they would want to do, but then we have things like towel art that they do, cocktail making or mocktail making, lots of different activities. They do pirate days, pizza making, obviously water sports as well. And we are based up in a natural marine park. So I think often people don't necessarily think of Mauritius quite in the same way as the Maldives for snorkeling and diving. But where we are, the marine life is absolutely stunning. So from the beach, we do snorkeling trips 3 times a day. So the water sports team will happily take you out and take your guests out, and literally it's kind of 10 minutes kind of across the water, and then they'll just let you go in 45 minutes or so. And I saw loads of fish when I was there. So all kinds of colors and shapes and sizes. And it was mind blowing. So it's definitely somewhere that if you've got guests who are keen to do snorkeling and diving, then yeah, definitely let me know. Um, all of the water sports as well are all free of charge. So that includes water skiing, which is often quite rare. The only one that is chargeable would be parasailing, but everything else, kayaking, obviously, windsurfing, snorkeling, all of those are free of charge. And the main thing that's different for us since sort of last year, we've actually doubled the size of our beach. So historically, the Oberoi was known for having a relatively small beach, and you could only access the water from this pier up on the right here. But since our GM started, they've actually taken a huge area of beach that wasn't being used for beach. I don't know what it was being used up here on the top right. That wasn't being used at all. So they've cleared that, they've put sun loungers there, and it's basically doubled the size of the beach. So here where the water sports team are, that's where people, and you can access the sea straight from the beach, which is excellent. And then just to give you an update on our offer at the moment. So we have a special offer for May. So we are offering 25% discount on our luxury pavilions, and then 30% discount on our luxury villas. So this is bookable till the end of May, and for travel until the 31st of March next year. Minimum of 4 nights stay. So if you do have any quotes for Mauritius, do let me know. Obviously, let the hummingbird know. But anything I can do to help with, I will. And hopefully, this little video, I'll just play you this as well. So just so for those of you who haven't been yet, so you can get an idea of how the resort looks and the layout and the feel of it. But if anyone is looking to go to Mauritius, again, let me know, and we'll happily have you to come and stay so you can experience it fully for yourself. The style at the Oberoi Mauritius is quite similar to a lot of the hotels that we have in our India portfolio. But where we are positioned, being on the northwest as well, it's perfect weather all year round. So obviously we don't have the issue with the winds of the east coast in our summer. So we do get a lot of guests who travel over July and August. I think that's becoming much more popular now. And as I said, the food is absolutely mind-blowing here. So there's definitely something to suit everybody. And the team will really, really look after your clients. So it it really does feel like a home away from home. So by the time they leave, they will yeah, they want to stay and extend their stay. But as I said, when I was there in January, we have a guest who comes out every January and stays for 2 months. So he's been doing that for the last few years. So he really does feel like it's a home from home. Brilliant. And yeah, that's everything. So thank you very much for listening to me. Hope you all found it useful. As I said, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And anything I can do to help, I will. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lucy.
Brilliant.
We've
Thanks,
got
Olivia.
we've got a couple questions.
Oh, fab.
So the first one is obviously, I know you just mentioned that man who stays for 2 months, but what would you say is the average length of stay for most guests that come?
I think most people tend to stay for a week, usually. We often get quite a few people doing like a twin center, but coming to us at the end. So that way they can go and explore a different side of the island. So quite often people might go and stay somewhere in the south and then come to us at the end. And then if that's the case, I think they probably stay 5 nights, sort of 5 nights in each. But generally, I'd say most people it's usually a week to 10 days. But obviously, yeah, that guy was slightly different, 2 months. So yeah.
That would be the best length of stay, I think.
I know. Yeah.
And then we've also got a question. Is it possible to spot whales or dolphins from the property?
I haven't seen whales. I'm not sure about whales. I have to check on that. But I definitely dolphins. So when I went on my snorkeling trip, it was just me on the boat. This was back in January, and so again, it's not like you've got a fixed time where the boat goes. They're very flexible, and you're not waiting for loads of people, and you don't have to go out of resort to get on a transfer to get to the snorkeling kind of place. So I went obviously off snorkeling. After we did the snorkeling, which was amazing, the guy was like, "Do you want to go see some dolphins?" I was like, "Yeah, great." So he literally just took the boat kind of just a bit further down the coast, and there was probably one or two other boats. This was in the morning, and he said, "Oh, look, look, look," and yeah, we spotted. Ooh, there were quite a few dolphins. So he said, in the morning, you're more likely to see them and people. It, yeah, in the morning, you're more likely to see them, but by the afternoon, it's sort of a known fact that you leave them alone. So people don't try and find them then. So they don't hassle them. So I know in other parts of the island, you have to go really early in the morning and you get loads of boats and it's quite a busy kind of experience. But here there was me and two other people. So yeah, so we definitely saw them and yeah, that was a great experience. So I do have a video of that somewhere. So you can definitely dolphins. I'm not sure about Wales, but I'll find out.
Perfect, thank you. And then one final question, which is what is included in the half board package in terms of dining options?
So, of the four restaurants that we have, three of them are included. So, and on the menus, everything is included. There's no stipulations that say extra charge for X, Y, or Z. So it's only the herb trail that's not included. So that would be an extra supplement. Don't know the price off the top of my head, but all the main restaurant on the rocks and the gunpowder room, all of those three would be included. And again, obviously. Yeah, so all of the food is included, and then drinks would be extra.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. That's all the questions that we have. If anyone thinks of anything afterwards, please feel free to reach out to us and we can come back to you with that. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a good rest of your day, and we'll be posting the recording of this on our YouTube channel if you'd like to share that around with any colleagues who might have missed today's session. But yeah, thanks so much again, Lucy, for joining.
Brilliant. That's great. Thanks very much, Olivia. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.
And
Bye.
you, take care. Bye bye.